Damn, son, where'd you find this?
People don't be offended by the truth. They be offended because you called out the truth. Simple as that. They don't want to hear any other narrative that makes them look bad.
One thing I can't stand at this big grown age is somebody who act like cause and effect does not exist. Like, yes, your actions caused this outcome. Yes, what you did lit the match. Like, why are you surprised and playing victim?
Guys, Chico, they never lie.
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late. They cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll tolerate it.
Yo. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Peace, blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. Let me say, first and foremost, thank you, everybody who are here. I did like a swap today. I really wanted to address this. I did once. I don't think it really got the in-depth interaction that it deserves. So I felt like we needed to spin back on this one. So I got a clip. It's not really a clip. This is like a full-length feature. Sydney is in the building. I thank her for gracing us here, doing this on the whim, you know. Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels, they had a fallout, and I kind of want to address the situation itself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring that up on the big screen. I'm gonna bring her up here. Shout out to Archon. I see you in the building. And I'm gonna let this run, and we're gonna chop it up. All right. So let's do this first. Sydney, good evening.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I hate when they mess with my sets. I had it the way I wanted it, and then they just kind of just manipulated it. You good though?
Mm-hmm. Don't mind me. I'm just eating goldfish.
Hey, you good? I done had the bubble guts up here while I was live streaming, and I had to get up And so it's all good. Yeah, just a quick backstory, real quick, and then I'm gonna let this run because let me see. This is 2 minutes. The clip is 2 minutes, but it's enough to kind of give you some inkling to what's going on. But basically, both of these individuals are pretty respected on social media for their different approaches to conversations involving politics, religion, relationships, so on and so forth. Hella successful on both sides, but they have different styles and different approaches to how they produce their content. And I thought they had sat down before, but after this exchange, I realized no, that was not it. So they finally sit down. Corey Holcomb, well-known comedian, Anton Daniels, hella known across all types of social media, doing great with his shows. They finally sit down. It got ugly, and I just wanted to get your take on it. This is about the position of podcast, social media conglomerates sitting down having these conversations, and well, I'm gonna let this do the rest of the talking. Hold on a minute, let's get this up on the big screen. I'm gonna let this play out, and we'll go from there.
Facts. I like this chat. Let me tell y'all why I like the chat.
Everything but himself
no.
and white men.
No, listen. I told you I want to come back and have a full conversation about it, or we can talk about it right now. I ain't got nothing better to do.
Study this episode.
Shout out to the
shit on Caucasian males.
Shout out to the chat.
Shit on
I'm
himself.
not gonna shit on nobody.
Yeah, you shitted on black people. You shitted on motherfuckers.
I feel like I shitted on you. To your face. To your face.
Be careful shitting on me, because I feel like you're talking shit again.
I'm not talking shit. I'm telling you.
Be careful.
I'm telling you.
You shitted on me to my face, but that shit will lead to some danger.
Will we please stop the
trust me,
the tough talk? I got security. You got security.
Homie, I ain't got security. Them my people.
Cool. Them your
You gotta hire a motherfucker to be with you.
Absolutely. I'm always gonna hire somebody.
You better.
100%.
How you be talking?
Corey, stop talking tough. Stop talking.
Homie,
tough.
you
just said that.
I'm not talking tough. I'm talking to you straight up.
Why are you so?
You said you disrespected me in my face, and then you act like it was all good.
That I disrespected you to your face. So I'm confirming what you said. You felt disrespected. So I am telling you that I disrespected you. If that's the way you felt. Is that not what you said? You said that out of your mouth. And so I apologize when you said that you felt disrespected.
No. The reason you said you disrespected me in my face
because you don't accept the apology because you still
talk about everybody else except yourself and white men.
I'm telling you what I said. You felt offended by it, so I apologize. All I'm doing is rehashing the conversation that happened. Why are you so easily offended?
You still talk about me? It sounds like I'm arguing
because I'm right.
I'll be around bitches and they tell me about myself all the time. Be gone.
No.
That shit don't hurt no feelings. It's probably better this way.
Because I just proved my point.
Be down. So you proved the point. Homie, just gone, man. Just gone, man. You gone.
I'm out the jet.
You done did this before. Get your bitch ass Hey, homie.
All right, I'm out.
Get your bitch ass the fuck on and walk over there with your bodyguard and your bitch, nigga. Walk over there with your bodyguard and your bitch.
You proved my point.
I got shit to do.
You're right.
Don't bring bitches up here, dog, that you ain't finna stand on. Right. Remember I told you that. If you got a bitch with you, explain the bitch. Don't ask her to be on my show, nigga. Can she be on the show? I don't know that bitch, nigga. Now get your whole ass the fuck on and pay for your pussy like you got to, cake ass nigga. And go is a fact.
So here's the thing, right? Both of them, like I said at the beginning of this stream, both of them are very successful at what they do. They have a huge following. Corey is the comedian. He tells his version of the reality that he sees. Anton has a more laid back spiritual aspect to his. He speaks about God and his faith with God, and they have this bravado about both of them, where it's like, well, hell, I'm an alpha. I move this way, and this is how I see things. But you never saw them in the same room before until here. And like my initial reaction to the entire video when I first did this, I never played any of this the first time, because my thing was I just wanted my voice to be heard on it specifically. I watched the whole thing, and I felt like the conversation and the topics that they were trying to cover, they got diminished and completely ignored or overshadowed because of this. Everything that mattered about their meeting, nobody's talking about it. Nobody even really remembers. All they can think about is, oh, they almost got into it. They were about to do this and do that. And it was like, well, for one, this was great for entertainment purposes. If you like the messy stuff, if you want to see people, especially of any type of position in power, this is cool. If y'all want to see them fighting and yelling and screaming and using absurdities against each other, it's cool for putting money in other people's pockets so they can sit there for an hour, 2 hours and give their perspective on what happened. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at two wealthy black men sit down knowing that they have a huge fan base. And to me, this was handled poorly. This was a waste. The opportunity that was here was missed. And I'm kind of disappointed in both of them, to be honest with you. This is just 2 minutes of it. There were other parts to this where you could tell it was never going to go well. You just knew it based on the interaction. So with that little context and that little backstory and what you heard and you've seen here, this conversation is about this, but it's about having that level of responsibility that they have, coming to opposing worlds, sitting down with someone who has a completely different style than you, and then having a discussion about something that you're most likely going to have pushback on and how it's being handled on social media.
Well, first, my initial comment is that definitely wasn't very much of a discussion. And you said that was the first time that they've interacted in that capacity before. So I'm like, they already had that bad blood. They were already waiting to jump on each other for. It was hard to follow exactly what they were arguing about, but I mean, I did catch that. I forgot which is which, but one of them was arguing because he was trying to bring a lady on the show, which I could see why that would be upsetting, because that is a bit not insulting per se, but it's like, it's not your show. Like, you shouldn't just be bringing random people onto somebody else's show. And to ask him on the show is a bit tactless, because it almost could try and force your hand, where you're asking somebody in front of a bunch of people, which would increase the likelihood of that person being like, sure, I guess. So I could see why he would be upset at that. But yeah, they they definitely, you can definitely detect there's a lack of a lack of respect for each other. So I can't imagine that they're going to reconcile going forward, just from the amount of animosity I could detect, unless this was just for views. I don't know if this is like typical for them, but yeah, definitely not much of a conversation.
So it got really heated, and this is the part that they left out, I guess maybe because of TikTok guidelines. Anton is the gentleman that you see without the hat. He's the guest. He's the one who pulls up to his show. At some juncture, there's a question or there's a conversation about accountability. But they, you know how this go. There's people who talk and then you interrupt them. You don't let them finish how they want to respond or how they want to answer. And then you're like, you ain't letting me talk. And it was that type of exchange, right? So we talk about context and allowing a person to speak and things of that nature. This was the opposite. Anton said something in response to Corey, but he took it a little too far. He told Corey that he sucks penises. And I'm using the word penis because that's not really what he said. I'm just trying to be a little more gentle with it. He told that man, yeah, you suck penises. You do this for your boss. And it was a whole measuring stick between them two. Once he told him he does that, Corey gets up out of his seat. There's a woman sitting between them. He gets up, he moves, the woman gets out of the way. He sits right directly in front of Anton. They almost get up, fight, doesn't happen. And my whole thing with this is, if anybody watches Corey Holcomb, you know he don't care about what he say out his mouth. He's very abrasive. He's very direct. He does try to watch some of his words, but he's very like brash. Anton is brash, but he's not as brash as he is. So you think about, you got two gentlemen who have this ego. They have this. Do you know who I am? I'm Corey Holcomb. I've been in TV shows. I've been in movies. I be on stage. And you got Anton who can say, well, hell, I know the people that you know. I got the type of money that you got. I can flex just like you. And he's the guest, so he's coming over here to his platform. You know, my thing is, and he said this before. We've talked about this before. If I go to your platform, Sydney, you invite me on there. I've never been before. I'm going to research. I need to know, and I've had conversations. Matter of fact, just put it this way. Me personally, I've had conversations with men and women over the last 2 years here. And they always say to me, when I ask or extend the invitation to come on as a guest or as a co-host or whatever, what's your show about? What's your platform about? What do you discuss? I always have those conversations before you see anybody up here. I don't just bring random people up here. So we speak prior to them arriving to the show. And that's the first thing that's asked. What's your show about? I give them a rundown. And just to go a step further, hey, all right, this is what we'll do. I will send you a link to one of our shows so that you can see the environment, you can see the structure, how we talk and go back and forth. So you'll already know what you coming into prior to it. I try to make sure everybody is welcome. I try to make sure everybody is on the same page. You know, when you get up here, it's going to be adults. We're not going to be screaming over each other. We're not going to be insulting each other. It's not about who has more views, and it ain't none of that. Y'all can leave all of that bravado out the door. So when I saw this, I'm instantly like, you can't be serious. And I'm addressing both of you. You can't be. Because if little old me is having these conversations with people, I know you know. Matter of fact, gentlemen like you don't have conversations with folks on my caliber until you actually see evidence that somebody is listening to me. But you peep and you watch. I know you do. So there's no way in the world you don't know how Corey Holcomb operates. There's no way in the world you don't know how Anton Daniels operates. Why did you fly out there? Why did you fly out to a show? And why did you invite him out there? And that was something. I'm gonna yield the mic here at Arcana. That was something else that I was thinking about. This should have been on a neutral playing field. And I'm really thinking about this shit. It's like Corey Holcomb, he's like, all right, well, you coming to me. So yeah, make sure you respect my house. You come with your arrogance and your whatever you got with you because you have your own, and it's like, well, I'm not about to let him show me up on my own platform, or I'm not about to let him embarrass me. You know who I am. I'm just as important as you. So you're not about to sit here and do none of that with me, that comparing with me. And again, like I said, all of it was just pointless to me.
Yeah, they really did not seem to know each other. And I also agree they should have met on neutral ground. They should have met in a way, like, it almost feels like they should have gotten a moderator for themselves, like where they had somebody else step in to do the interview with both of them at the same time, which could have kept the situation more calmer than it was. And yeah, they definitely should have done more research on each other. And honestly, I feel like they should have planned this episode together. Like, what questions are we going to ask? It seems like they were just kind of winging it, and they don't really seem to have the personality to just wing it. Usually it takes a more like personable, chatty type person to just kind of wing something like that. So I think they really should have come up with a script, or at least had plans for the types of questions they were going to ask. And again, they should have set boundaries. Some of the stuff that they, the one that was going to bring the lady on, like, he should have asked that like off screen and ahead of time, or at least after the episode, rather than bringing it up there. It kind of reminds me of this podcast. I didn't see the podcast itself. I just saw the clip from the podcast where she was being brought on because I think she was a creator, and she was being interviewed by this kind of like the setup that you have where they interview people and get them out there and kind of share who they are on their platform. And they were doing that with her, and they're interviewing her, and literally in the live stream, she was getting it from behind on the stream live. And I'm like, if you're gonna do somebody's podcast, you at least need to give them the respect of not doing stuff like that. So it kind of makes me think of stuff like that, where you really have the disrespect on somebody else's podcast to act like that and to bring negative views to somebody else's hard work. Like, people don't realize just how finicky views can be. Like, you could put out one video and lose a substantial amount of your viewers just because of a mistake. And it can be very hard to kind of repair your reputation online once it's out there, because as we know, once a video is out there, it's out there, and people can keep reposting it for years. And so it can be kind of inescapable if you ruin your reputation online. So I think that's a part of that situation where he should have been a lot more respectful of each of their reputations, because that type of behavior can have major repercussions. Like, we've already seen big YouTubers, I can't really think of any off the top of my head, but I have some vaguely in my mind, of people that showed behavior that was unruly once, and that crashed their viewership, and they basically like lost their show because of it. So it's crazy to me that somebody could, I mean, I guess understand, because it seems like it's the theme this week. When you respond emotionally to situations, you're more likely to make stupid decisions, and act in a way that you would be embarrassed for people to see typically. So they very clearly were acting out of emotion and weren't considering the decisions that they were making during that conversation and how it could potentially affect their viewership on both ends. And I think really that, again, goes back to a lack of respect for each other, a lack of respect for your hard work, their hard work, and a lack of willingness to put in the effort to understand the show that you're going to be going on or the person that you're going to be interviewing. So I think it was definitely foolhardy for these people to engage in a discussion like that if they didn't have their self in order and didn't do the research that would be required for interviewing somebody. I mean, imagine if somebody on the news like had somebody come on and they didn't know who they were, what they were there for, what kind of questions to ask. Like, that would be the most awkward thing to watch, and you probably wouldn't get very much out of that interview. Interviewers need to know the person that they're interviewing. Even like in job interviews, people have to, like, you have to review their resume, see what their history is. That way you know what questions to ask, and you're not just like, so who are you? Where have you worked? What's your job experience? So it's important when you engage with somebody that you understand who you're engaging with and how best you can show respect to that person. Because again, it reflects back on you as well.
So here's my thing, right? Anton has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Corey Holcomb, he has a nice number as well. So that tells me that they have a team. Your team's job can be a variety of different things. It is completely hard for me to believe or accept that as long as both of them have been around, they don't know each other. You absolutely know who the other person is. That's not me being biased or nothing. It's impossible for me to believe that. So I'm gonna look at it like this: you know who he is, and vice versa. You know what you're getting into. You know what you signed up for. So you've already gotten into the mindset. Oh, I'm coming for smoke. I'm coming for war. Or you're prepared for anything. He said he has security. He pays for security everywhere he goes. You already know these type of things can go left at any given moment, especially with somebody like Corey. He called women bitches, hoes. He don't give a fuck what he say out his mouth. He don't. The only reason he doesn't get kicked off of social media is because he still knows how to be blunt without them flagging him. But that's who he is. Comedians alone, that's how they are. So you can't convince me, Anton, that you didn't know that. And then another thing that bothers me about it is not too long ago, I did a reaction video to Anton because he got into it with Tommy Sotomayor. And there was this weird confusion. Tommy felt as if Anton was kind of like shoving him off, like he didn't know who he was. And Anton was basically saying, I know of you, but I don't know you personally. And one of the reasons why we never worked together is because you are not YouTube friendly. You're not social media friendly, meaning that your style gets you kicked off of these platforms, and it makes it difficult to monetize with you. So it would be bad for business to work with you because of his style. Everybody got their own. So I just have a whole Back to the Future flashback, and I'm like, well, if you don't really dig the way that that man does his thing, which is cool, you don't have to, but to say Tommy's approach to these discussions on any level is going to cost you money, but in the same breath, you'll fly to have a conversation with Corey, or you'll have a conversation with Myron Gaines, knowing damn well that Myron makes it very clear how he feels towards certain ethnicities. Whether or not you think he's racist or not, he's very disrespectful to black people, to Arabs, to he's full blown out everything that you hear on the internet. That's how he comes. He don't care. Myron is a troll. Tommy, he goes off too. You say what you said about him. Corey does the same thing. So why would you then put yourself in that environment if you already know what was going to, like, you can't convince me otherwise. And again, I say this, it don't matter if you like my approach or my style, if I talk too fast, talk too slow. Me personally, I will never bring somebody up here, man or woman, or go to somebody's place of business, disrespect their platform. I'm going to agree or disagree with something, insult you on your platform, and expect that your reaction is going to be anything other than what that was. I yield the mic.
I think the thing that to me is, even if you don't like the person, you still don't have to show that behavior. As you're saying, these people are a bit brash and can be insulting. So it's probably in their nature, unfortunately, to act in that manner. But with most, like, I don't want to call it normal because, nobody's ever normal per se. But in general, like with typical people, you have the capacity to moderate yourself and not show certain emotions, not say certain things, even if you think it, even if you feel it. And I feel like if you're going to be a celebrity of any kind, you really should have emotional moderation. Like, it's not good for your reputation. It's not good for people on who are watching you online, on TV, wherever you are, to see that type of behavior, that type of influence. And especially now, when it's not just adults that are going to be watching this content, it's equally going to be children, essentially. Like, we have kids as young as like 4 and 5 watching content on social media. There was a teacher video I listened to a couple months ago, and she was talking about the type of content that she sees her kindergartners watching. And there are children, little girls, that watch and emulate like Bad Bunny and people like that. So our kids are getting exposed to these adult content creators because their parents aren't paying attention, or they get free reign, which kind of falls into the same category as not paying attention.
You hit mute.
How long was I on mute? Which part did I end with?
It was the parents who have kids who
Okay. They're not watching. And then at schools, teachers will give kids like free time on computers, and there they can also be exposed to this type of stuff, especially because then they also have their classmates like, hey, did you see this? My big sister showed me this. My big brother showed me this. I saw my mom watching this. And they'll share it with their friends. And this is how a lot of these videos are spread between young kids. I don't know if you've heard me say, there was a teacher video I was watching a couple weeks ago where she was talking about the type of content that she sees the kids watching. And there were 5-year-olds emulating the dances of Bad Bunny, among other dancers. So our kids are not, like a lot of them are exposed to this type of content, and they're at that age, they're going to emulate the people that they admire. And so if you have these kids watching this type of content because there's no moderation on an adult's part, that's the type of behavior that they're going to start exhibiting. Like there's already social problems with kids because of their addiction to technology already. And the last thing we need is for them to think it's normal and adult-like to be aggressive and rude and argue and not be able to see eye to eye. Because this is the type of stuff that gets views. People aren't watching debates, like professional debates for fun. Most people aren't going to be watching like calm educational interviews just for fun, especially children. They're going to watch the stuff that's like, bam, in your face, exciting, look at this, crazy. And so they're more likely to be exposed to people like this. So one, it's important as an adult to make sure that you're moderating your kids' content, and like don't think that YouTube Kids is going to protect them, because adult content still makes it past those guidelines. But also for the creators, like understand that it's not just adults that are watching your videos. I mean, I bet a lot of them don't really care, but it's still something to consider if you want to have a reputable platform, is to moderate yourself for the people that don't want to see that type of behavior. Like at the very least, maybe make it paid content or something, because then at least only the people that really have access to money are going to be able to watch that type of content, which brings up its own issues. But I don't know, I feel like it would prevent kids from having more access to that type of stuff and have it be pushed by the algorithm to more people. I just think it's distasteful that society is moving this direction where a lot of our content is only funny, is only pushed because people are swearing and yelling and insulting and saying like really repugnant things to each other. So yeah, it's definitely a problem I don't think is going to get fixed. I think it's only going to get worse at this point. Just because of the way the human mind works. Like we like that type of stuff. It's fuel for dopamine. But it's something that people should consider, especially if they're going to be consuming content, what it does to your brain, what it does to your kids' brains. So if YouTube's not going to moderate it, you can moderate it for yourself, because that's the type of stuff that does encourage that behavior within us. We ourselves as adults still take examples out of that because we're seeing it, and eventually we're going to start acting out the things that we see, whether we realize it or not. So it's a shame that more content isn't wholesome or at least the enticing content isn't wholesome. And we get a lot more of this type of stuff pushed.
I'm not mad at nobody being passionate. I'm not. What I have a problem with is that you're two grown adults. Why are we having a conversation about you having a mediator? Someone really got to sit between you at that grown age. Somebody really got to sit there between y'all and control the environment when you should be able to control it yourself. And I've seen you both on multiple platforms holding conversations with a variety of people. Okay? And you know how to compose yourself. I've seen you on the big stage. I've seen you on small stages. You know how to talk to people. You know how to turn up, but you don't go so far as to insulting the other person because of a disagreement. This was the opportunity for y'all to get some stuff off y'all chest that you were feeling towards each other before the stream at all. Y'all had some level of respect going into it. You might not have even liked each other before this, but y'all say, you know what? This might be good for the people. We bump heads, but they want to see it. Hell, I wanted to see it until I realized that nothing really was accomplished here, unless the whole intentions and purpose was clickbait, clip farming, because now you have dozens of people responding and reacting to it. But guess what? No one's really talking about the actual issues that was being addressed. See, Corey feels like Anton picks on black people. He doesn't say nothing about white people. Anton feels like Corey is a suck up. But they never really even expanded upon the disagreements that they were having, because it turned into, let's see who can outboss the other person. Y'all just wasted time. To me, I wanted to hear what two successful black men had to say about what we are dealing with on a daily basis. I wanted two healthy, successful black men to show the rest of the world that we could handle these discussions in such a manner that it changes the perception that everyone else has about us. We can be rich and wealthy and have these platforms, and it doesn't have to be trash. It don't have to be about negativity all the time. And it don't have to be about, oh, I'm richer than you and I bench 250 pounds more than you and all. It don't have to be that. Stick to the topic. Keep it on the topic. Everybody go home unscathed. Somebody gets something out of it. And one by one, we change the narratives that are placed on us. I didn't get that. And it's sad that you even have to suggest that somebody from PE class has to stand in the middle so nobody fights over the ball. You sign up to go there. Both of you have large followings they're gonna pick sides. They're gonna say, "Oh, he was right, he was wrong. This is this. This." You're gonna have that all day. That was supposed to be the moment. This was supposed to be the moment that you did something great, and you turned it into something that y'all speak about on your own when y'all not even in the same room. When you over here doing your videos, you talk about this exact same thing. You talk about context. You talk about how we do this and how we move like this. And let me show you how you do the same thing. This very thing that you are complaining about, guess what? You just clipped yourself. Both. And I know y'all can handle and move differently. I know y'all can talk like you got some common sense because I've seen it. This wasn't it at all. And so now I'm just looking at a lot of these creators and I have to ask, are we really getting out of these discussions what we really should be? It's easy to have it with somebody that you okay with. It's different when you sitting across from somebody you're not really fond of and you have to do this. Now I need to see if you know how to use those examples that you carry on about everywhere else. I want to see if you can do that here right now in the moment. That's where your merit shows up. That's where your followers and the people that are watching you, they're going to examine everything that you say and do because they're the ones that's in the comment section and defending you and fighting for you. You ain't responding to them. You're not reading or interacting with your comment section or the people in your chats, but they are the ones that are going to either make or break you. So when you decided to get on that plane and go over there and have that conversation, you should have stayed on the mission. But you can also, you can't be mad that he responded the way he did. You know he did. You know you were wrong. But you also, at the same time, you should, why even take the invite if this was what we were going to get? So are we at a point to where y'all just don't know how to do the things that you say you do? Because let me tell you something. I didn't had a couple of situations here where people done crashed out, and I didn't handle it that way. Live, just completely just lost the shit. I didn't go back and forth over it. I didn't do all that. I don't have to prove nothing to you or nobody else. I had a whole crew of people walk off the stream, and I still finished the live up. Sometimes you got to pick and choose your battles. You got to know how to handle certain situations. And we talked about this the other day. There's ways to show intellect matters more than your emotions sometimes. Most times, actually. You can't allow your emotions to always get in the way of the purpose and the goal. The goal should always be bigger than your hatred towards the other person. Period.
I still remember that episode. It was like maybe the third episode I ever did with you. I want to say Jason was on it with us. I swear he was drunk. Not Jason, the other person that was on. He was an older gentleman, and he went on this like long, angry rant tangent, and I think he ended up like rage quitting or something. But I do remember it was like a very heated rant over something triggered by whatever we're talking about. And this was, as I said, one of my earliest shows. I was like, is this how it's always going to be? Like, is this how all the guests are going to be like? But at the time, I was like, no, it's probably just like, I don't know. It's probably just him. I just was like, I hope he doesn't come back. And I never saw, like, he never came back on the show, but it made me think of that, where it definitely, like, affects how other participants feel, but it's also important to not react to stuff like that. And I think that's why I felt comfortable coming back. Because in some, like, I'm very finicky. Like, if I feel uncomfortable in a situation, I'm not coming back. And because you and Jason, if he was on it, I can't remember or not, because neither of you had that type of response, and even both of you were like, okay, this is interesting. Let's navigate the conversation somewhere else. I never felt like, oh, this is the vibe of the show. But yeah, that I was just thinking of that particular episode when you were saying all the stuff that you just finished saying, and how you really have to have control over your emotions, especially if you're on somebody else's show, because that does not look good. Not to mention, it could ruin your chances of doing things with other people, because they're going to see that and be like, yeah, I don't know if I feel comfortable with you being part of this, if this is how you're going to act. It also kind of makes me think of the teachers that are, or people in general, that are shocked, absolutely shocked when they get fired from their job for making TikToks at work. Whether they're doing dances, whether they're talking about clients, whether they're just basically like slacking off or talking bad about the work, they're absolutely like, what? Why would they fire me for doing a TikTok? It was just a TikTok. It wasn't that big of a deal. But they don't realize, they don't have the lack of selfishness to realize that it's the work's reputation as well. Like, nobody's going to want, like, if somebody saw that and they're like, oh, that's my doctor's office. Like, my nurse was really like twerking in the hallway when I was waiting to get my shot or something. Like, is that why it took half an hour for me to get seen? Or like, oh, these people are bad mouthing the company. Like, do I really want to give them my business if this is how they feel? People don't really realize how their thoughtless actions can affect the whole, whatever it is, whether it's a job or a podcast or a business of some sort. So people these days don't really use their brains as much as they should. And I think we really should return to a time where people are willing to use common sense and moderate their own behavior, without like excusing others. I've noticed that a lot of people, or I guess the people that I see who lose it, blame the other people for them losing it. And that is part of the necessity of emotional regulation, is to realize that just because someone else is acting a certain way is not giving you the right to also act that way. Like, it's crazy how many people don't realize that just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean you have to show it. Like, you can feel emotions without exhibiting it in your behavior. Like, you can feel angry without showing them anger. And you can express anger without yelling or insulting or storming off, or all of the different ways that people respond to confrontations. Trying to find the Alcohol Anonymous. They're, I just want to get the wording right. But until I find it, one of the tenets is something along the lines of, give me the power to know what I can and can't control, and give me the power to know the difference. And that really is, like, I remember somebody once was talking about the Alcohol Anonymous tenets, or whatever they're called. I'll look up the official one, but they're saying that it's something that anyone should know. It doesn't matter if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict or just a normal person. Not that you're not normal if you have that. But average people should know that. They should know that they can't control everything, and they should empower themselves to know the difference between what you can and can't change. And one of the things you can change is your behavior. You cannot change how other people treat you, but you can change how you respond to how people are treating you. And this interview was very clearly an example of two people that did not care to affect their behavior based on how someone else was treating them.
All that understanding and breaking down context and listening went out the window. I don't even think they had any intentions on having the conversation that they were supposed to. And that's the disappointing part for me. That's the only thing that I'm going to get from it. Yeah, I had a chance to really do something special with this, and you turned it into a circus because somebody elevated their voice too much. And then somebody started saying something. I gotta call you out, bro. You were poking at Corey. Like, you were saying little things here and there that got him to the point where he started getting a little more aggressive. And I don't know if you were doing it purposely to challenge him, but that wasn't it either. Something that Coach says is that he knows how to pivot. And if y'all have been watching us at all the last couple of years, we have our days, but they never turn to anything like that. I find it exhilarating when there's like this rapid back and forth. Like, it might be Sydney, Coach, it might be Rob, me, it might be me, Coach, it might be Sydney, Rob. You never know. It really just depends on the discussion, and it never ever turns into this slur of belligerent, you this and you that. Why? we know that it's not about that. Nobody here goes into any of these streams with the purpose of trying to antagonize someone. We here for one reason, is for the topic, not to perform and to dance for people. And some of y'all are so toxic that y'all be looking for it, and you're used to seeing it. We don't do that over here. Anton has plenty of shows where they get like that up there.
Even people in the comments will kind of fish for that sometimes. We'll have somebody that's just like very clearly throwing out either insults or direct, like, I disagree because insert opinion, where they're very clearly wanting us to go off on a tirade at them. That way they could be like, see, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just blah, 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 insult.
Yeah. I've learned to ignore them. Ignore, block, mute. That's what the moderators are for. I'll tell you right now, you're not about to just drain the energy out of me. Period. You can keep that with you. Take it elsewhere. That's what I'm talking about. You know your environment. You understand what's going on, and you stick to the mission. Always. You never pivot from the mission. You really think if someone who isn't really fond of me invites me somewhere for conversation, I'm going to accept it? If I do decide to accept it, yeah, I will have security. I got the money for it. I'm definitely going to use it. You tripping. But it's not even about that. I don't mind having the conversation because I know how to stay on task. I don't have hatred in my body for nobody. Whatever you got going on with you, that's on you. That situation that happened up here, I moved according. After all the smoke settled, we just parted ways off screen. There was no conversation. That's not for y'all. Why would I do that? That would be like me transferring negative energy to somebody else. Nah, you handle it off air. I bid you adieu. There's no hard feelings. We spoke our piece and kept it pushing. That's it. I don't even speak on it. I don't speak on nobody from the past. At some point, you did things here that I'm grateful for. I will never speak negatively on you. I appreciate every experience, good or bad. I learned something from all of them. I don't hold grudges. And this right here just it wasn't it. It wasn't. So I mean, I've started to change what I consume visually, especially when it comes to folks who say one thing and then they do something completely different. And it's definitely that. It's definitely that. You can't tell me you support Myron, but you have an issue with these other people and confront these other people, and y'all have. And then what Arcana said, him and Charleston White are actually friends, or at least they're cool acquaintances. take that how you leave. I'm not even going and all that. It's just I don't know, man. You like what you like, though, right? That's what the internet's for. You have a variety of different channels that you can connect with based on how they approach certain things, and I'm disappointed in how that was handled. That could have been something that could be replayed over and over and over again. I don't want to sit there and listen to two grown black men fighting each other because I see it too much as it is. It's like, damn, can we get something else? Can we finally do something different? Why are you so hard on us being looked at like this is all we know? That goes for everybody. We gotta be bringing specific people on your shows just because you know it's going to incite the audience, it's going to trigger a certain person on your panel. Why do y'all do that? Maybe I just don't care that much about the algorithm, and that's not my type of excitement. Is there anything that you want to say as far as this situation, or just how we handle these discussions on these major platforms?
I do. I have two. One thing, I found it's called the Serenity Prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking as he did the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make all things right if I surrender to his will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever. And that was written by Reinhold Niebuhr. I don't know if I said that right. In the 1900s, I think. He was born in 1892 and died in 1971. So probably the early 1900s that he wrote this. But that came to mind because of the whole your emotions are something that you cannot change. People's things that they do to you is not something you can change. But what you can change is your reaction, your behavior, your response to that type of behavior. You have the power to not react in a negative manner. Even if you feel a certain way, you don't actually have to act in that negative way. There are ways to address uncomfortable situations, angry situations, unhappy situations, insulted situations without using aggression to do so. I think a lot of people think that just because they feel something means that they need to show that person that they're feeling that way. A lot of people kind of have that that like, well, I'm feeling so hyped up that you need to understand how I'm feeling. And the only way that you're going to understand how I'm feeling is to be angry, to show the intensity of your feelings through your actions. And that's not the case. You can express yourself without expressing anger. In the same way that, like, you don't have to use swear words. I mean, we all do, but you don't have to but we enjoy using swear words because it amplifies the intensity of what we are saying. And so that's something people need to keep in mind when they interact with people, that you have the choice to not act in a hostile manner. It's just a lot of people choose to because they think it emphasizes the feelings that they're feeling inside, and that almost like vengeance, that it's going to alleviate the discomfort that they're feeling, the anger that they're feeling, the whatever that they're feeling. And they're hoping that their expression of anger is going to do something for them, which it's not. And if anything, it could make it worse because it could induce guilt because you feel bad for what you did. It can cause the relationship to fail because of what you said, and you can't. Two things that you can't get back: a word after it's been said and a rock after it's been thrown. Once you have broached something in a relationship like that, often you really can't recoil or go back, rewind. So it's something to consider, especially if you're online, especially if you're making your life around talking to people, associating with people, interviewing people, things that involve interacting with a wide variety of types of people, having to interface in potentially stressful situations about stressful topics. You have to have that self-control if you want to be successful, because the people that are flagrant and angry put people off eventually. Like, you might have your moment, people are like, whoa, look at that, that was crazy. But that's not going to allow you to have sustained attention. People are thrilled by crazy behavior, but people often don't stay for just that behavior, because eventually they'll find somebody else that's more thrilling than you. So your best bet is to have a consistent, normal presence that people can actually resonate with, and preserves your reputation, because you really, there's a lot of people that do not respond very well to witnessing somebody's hostile anger. And I thought I could end with a poem. I have one on expressing anger, so I thought it would be a very fitting poem to end the stream with.
Shout out to Misused for tapping in, just following the comments. And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you. Yeah, it does take thick skin. It takes a lot of wherewithal,
Humbleness,
humility, whatever word you want to frame it as, man. Because you get hit with all type of strays up here, for real. And we ain't even in the thick of it yet. Like, we just getting like the small stuff. But Corey and Anton, they've been around for years, and they get hit with all type of stuff, nuclear warheads, all that. So they should know better. They should know better, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this poem is called Up to Here. Watching the steam on your cheek, blowing back with every vexed wheeze, the invisible amorphous weight dragging you shoulder to waist, threatening to take you down to a knee, begging for the answers you seek. Secret infarctions deep in the darkness, desperate screams to get rest, pushing past limits, daring your blood to cool off for just a little bit longer. Even as the eyes of your ego flood, you demand to be stronger. Gripping invisible walls with emotional nubs, nails ripped out in the angry holes that you dug. Will your friendly fingertips come back, or are you now programmed to attack? Reach for embraces, get lashes, turning face, returning to anoint with the ashes. The spurious reconciliation begets retaliation, bristling, stressing, teeth on teeth caressing, neurons knowing well that torture's not fair, labored, leaking lungs lacking air, burst out and exhalation and exaltation, aiding and abetting, righteous humiliation.
As always, love the poetry aspects of these, man. Thank you for being here. You roll with the punches. You picked the ball up and you took it to the goal. This was a great one. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to everybody who tapped in this evening. Tomorrow, we back closing in on Friday. Tap in with us if you're available. Love to chop it up with y'all as always. Do me a solid before you go if you don't mind.
What's the goddamn button?
Appreciate y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day.